Would you like to explain about that a bit?
Yes, what I'm trying to do while others are sharing their thoughts, we are sharing the achievements of this year of the Keshe Foundation. What we see, the exhibition center, which is now fully operational, and what we have achieved. This is the television studio of the Keshe Foundation in the center. KFTV has got a home. We see the extension in a beautiful way that will come to operation this year, where everything is set to go ahead. It's one of the first times we share these pictures. This is internal view of the three sections to the what we call the television studio, which is now set fully operational. This is the conference section and the new exhibition. This is where the knowledge and technology will share. This is Keshe Foundation, Arizona, where we put everything out. And as it says, one planet, one nation, one race, building peace through technology. And that seat on its own in the middle has a lot of meaning. This is a seat of justice, seat of knowledge, and is the seat where man will share peace. And what we call without bullets will achieve a lot. And the bullet of knowledge is the heavier for those who take these seats to be just and correct. We see the exhibition center in Austria, and these two pictures brought a lot of pressure on the negotiation in Vienna. And the American delegation and IEA to see the flag of Iran in US and the flag of Iran in Austria sharing technology brought a lot of understanding that we talk about peace and sharing of the knowledge. I know the meaning and the influence in discussion these two pictures have brought to the table. This is Iran first factory, where we have said, and in the coming days, will start manufacturing the MAGRAF system and CO2 captures to build the press units. Today we're celebrating something else. In the next few hours, maybe before the end of this session, what I call the first marriage of knowledge seekers will take place. The head of Iran Keshe Foundation operation Youssef, in next 2-3 hours, will be getting married to another knowledge seeker in Iran. One of the successes of Iranian Keshe Foundation has been the resilience of Youssef and correct conduct in a way he works and lives by the ethos of the foundation. Doesn't matter who he sits in front of. And we congratulate him and his new wife, and we joined the celebration of his marriage. He was interested, he was willing to share the marriage ceremony with us, but due to certain restrictions and what we call situation which exists at the moment in Iran, we could not share and be part of his wedding ceremony. We wish him all the best with his new life and his beautiful wife. And the strangest thing is that the whole family are knowledge seekers. And we congratulate the first, what they call knowledge seekers marriage. And the way this marriage has taken place and they got introduced together was through the work of the Keshe Foundation. And I'm hoping we'll see many, many of these marriages. And we see and we wish all the best for the Iranian Keshe Foundation team as they are strengthening in their work. And we hope we will meet very soon with Yusuf and with his new bride, and as knowledge seekers that they will support, and they have supported the Keshe Foundation in Iran. This is our Keshe Foundation images from Jin and Jan. The real pictures and the others are with Manglin, if she wants to share with us the latest pictures, as the Keshe Foundation building has taken nearly 6 months to complete. We took a shell, and now it's being completed. Manglin, if you're in the background, you would like to share the latest pictures from the inside, as the building now is going through the phases of getting furnished. As we have built the most prestigious offices and what we call the sections of the Keshe Foundation China. This is the production side of the Keshe Foundation, mass producing gases, and you can see it is extensive. Again, we go on the images of the Keshe Foundation. This is the very first magraphs, which you will see many of it will be exported around the world from Keshe Foundation Iran. Next to the flag of the Keshe, what we call Keshe Foundation, or flag of Iran, sits the oil industry, but Iran knowledge seekers are working to expand the transfer of the energy through the other sides with officials. We saw this year the harvest increase in the fields in north of Iran, which led to the signing of the first signing of the contract and understanding with a major university in Iran. This harvest showed the government of Iran that the technology is and will affect the farming. And now the biggest technology in Iran has been signed, the biggest technology, what we call in universities in Iran, and you'll see a lot of agricultural reports coming out. This picture has a lot of meaning for us. It's the first time Iranian government officially confirms the use of the Keshe Foundation technology since 2008. This is where the major breakthrough was brought in for the Keshe Foundation. The officials, especially the Americans and the British, by seeing this report and being part of the negotiation, understood Keshe Foundation is part of the integral part of the Iran Defense Military Force. And they have suffered with it. They could not expand their expansion programs because of this picture. Many of you will soon understand what these two pictures have to do with each other. Where through this picture, which many of you have seen, with the lying Prime Minister of Israel, and the confirmation of the other pictures we saw, which led to the whole structure, brought many changes. We understand that this picture in the future will come to be one of the cornerstone changes and acceptance of the Keshe Foundation technology in the world. Because in our process, in our work, we managed to confirm and deliver confirmation from a national government. It is a huge achievement, and this would not have been done if we did not deliver the technology the correct way. As I said in other teachings, in 2008, when I went to Iran, I signed a written guaranteed contract with the Iranian government that my technology can be used for defense of the nation, but not for military advantages and war. And we saw with this disclosure that Iran never crossed this border, but with it, defended the nation. And this was a breakthrough we were waiting for. And in the coming time, in the process of understanding more and more of it, we came to understand that our technology was used and abused by other nations. In so many ways, the breakthrough in 5+1 came when we put the pictures and the understanding together for the governments to understand how a space technology was abused to misrepresent. And this is where the peace talks changed course, that it wasn't hidden, that one light. But the beauty of it was one technology brought the condition of what we see, progressive peace. And in the coming time, we will push further. We will not stop by, in a way, the progress of the foundation. We will see many, many pictures to come from achievements of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. And we will see massive developments on the other side of the work for many of us. We are like what I call a pack of cards, a strengthening by each card being added to it by knowledge, what I call resilience, by understanding, and in so many ways adding new technologies. The breakthrough for many of us will come in this year with the latest space technologies which we will release, as we endeavor to bring the change through technology and through understanding better advancements in technology. Space technology which we are very good at, space technology which we know will bring the change. And the changes will be massive for many of us. And maybe we'll see more. This is one of the first Keshe Foundation industrial application in farming in Austria. This will bring new changes for many of us. We'll explain this in the structures which have to be built around the world using this technology. This picture will bring change to, again, many of us. I'm sure a large percentage of us and our children and our parents and our family will come to use this system very rapidly. The stroke.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I lost your audio there for just a sentence or so. After the word stroke.
Can you hear me? Yeah, no problem. The stroke and elevation of the soul of the man, all will be controlled, all be done through the system. Don't look at the smallest, it controls the soul of the man. He has the power to elevate the soul of the man. This is one of the most powerful systems which has ever been built, made, or will be built for the human race. This is the cornerstone of the man changing, understanding, and observing the elevation of his soul through understanding of his own. A number of these will be sent to Arizona in the coming week. In the coming weeks, we'll see the first time we put the soldiers of war of America coming back damaged, walking out of these as a normal human being. We'll concentrate on veterans to start with in US using these systems. Those who received mental damage, those who received physical structural damage to the brain to be rebuilt using this. And with it, we'll see the change in physicality. I have said before, and I'll say it again. You looked at these systems for physicality. I gave you this system for elevation of the soul of the man. And you will understand. Many of you wish to have a few minutes within this structure. Then you will understand how progressive we have become. We will see a massive change in the knowledge to come this year. 100 of these units are set to be exported out of Austria this year to different locations around the world to show the effect directly on the changing of the man. We will see these in prisons where people who are under no control, they see elevation of their soul, and we will receive a new man, not through psychological change, but through elevation of the soul. And we'll see changes. This small unit is prelude to big changes for human race. And this is one of the achievements of 2021. And we will see more and more advanced systems than this to come. Conjunction of different technologies of the Geshe Foundation to deliver a massive punch, where nations will rely on technologies which we expert irrespective of what we call the nation or the place where the technology is built. This motherland, Iran. The first maglev systems. You will see these maglev systems right across the world, export from Iran. And with it, we'll see big changes. We start teaching you how to use the maglevs, not as an energy system in electric current, but as a powerhouse for many changes in your lives. You will see in what will deliver with maglevs, you will move away from eating. These maglev units, you looked at it as a power unit, power generators. They are power generators for what we call the dimension of the soul of the man and the physicality of the man. You plugged it to the wall. We plug it to your physicality, and then you will understand. You were looking for a generator. It's been sitting right in front of you. We'll tell you how to correct it and how to use it, and then you will see the change. Understanding the technology doesn't sit in a box or in a unit. Understanding the technology sits in totality of understanding what we call the elevation of the soul of the man. Rick, is there anybody else who would like to share?
Let's have a look here. We have a hand up with Marie. Marie, would you like to go ahead? If you could say who you are and where you're from as well.
Hello, this is Marie. I'm a Universal Council member for the Norwegian language. So I'm from Norway. I want to speak on behalf of the Universal Council, where I'm a member, and what we have done this latest year. We worked with invitation to this exhibition in Linz, which is so grand and beautiful, and showing off all this beautiful technology that we are in a way a part of, all of us. And we have been working on unification of the souls of humanity for quite a long time, and I think the results are showing in a way by, especially by the knowledge seekers and the way we are working together as knowledge seekers. And then we have been working on requested by Mr. Kesh, the elevation and enlightenment of the peace process in Vienna, with the 5+1 or 5+3 negotiators and the IAEA diplomats that are also working for peace, and we are in a way demanding them to walk towards peace. We are also in the Universal Council, we are also spreading the knowledge about the soul to anyone who wants to listen. And we have learned so much about the soul that never was told before. And we now know that we have all this power within. And it's important that we start to use this knowledge that we gain from Mr. Kesh, that we start to do it in the small projects that we are developing in our own small way, which will be bigger, and we will work together as well. We also learned about the ethos of the foundation and the universe, or Unicos, and it's all peaceful, and it's a lot about sharing, and we learn how to conduct ourselves, which may be the biggest obstacles for humans. But now we know, so our responsibility is to adopt this knowledge and conduct ourselves, because this is very, very important for the future of humanity. Because when we become peaceful, when we get this world peace all over and everyone is peaceful, the doors to the universe will open. And we all know about the beautiful spaceship that is manufactured and ready and under test in Vienna and Arizona and in Iran. And that will be the biggest breakthrough for this technology. And it's launching the 22nd of June 2022. So it's very short time until this big event is coming. And when this doors to the universe opens, we will meet our brothers and sisters in the universal community, and we will welcome them, because now we understand that we are equal with all those out there through this knowledge. And the future for humanity and this earth is so bright and beautiful, and that is very important now in these times on earth, in the physicality, because life is very harsh for many people all over the world, and humanity needs hope, and this knowledge from the Creator is giving us so much hope and love, and we are so loved by the Creator. And I will thank Mr. Kesh for bringing this beautiful knowledge to us. And as a Universal Council member, I want to say that we are ready to kind of extend this and bring it out to humanity. And it gives us a lot of hope for the future. And as Mr. Kesh earlier today said, that the future is so bright by having this knowledge and be able to spread it everywhere to all in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. One thing I can point out in the chat here, we had a comment earlier from Tavusi when Mr. Kesh had the screen up about the numbers. Let's just briefly have a look at that. And so I've got a screen share of the numbers that Mr. Kesh had up. And Tavusi had put in Persian, suggesting that the 8 plus 8 add up to 16, and the 6 and 1 add to 7. And he says, which is the 7th step or stage of Mithra in Mithraism. So that's another interesting coincidence, so-called coincidence about those numbers. I thought we should just sort of insert that since he was nice enough to point that out. Thankfully, we have Google Translate, which I put into action and was able to discern what he was saying. Okay. I think Dean has a hand up here, so I'd like to acknowledge that. Dean, did you like to go ahead?
Thank you, Rick. Thank you very much. So for me, I'd just like to express a few feelings and emotions and conditions that have arisen through the knowledge of Mr. Kesh and the beauty of universal knowledge. I remember very early on being very, very aware of situations that were occurring. And I remember in this moment, I didn't know so much about my soul. Those teachings came later on. And this was before my interactions with the foundation. I remember sending a very big call out from my being, from myself, to the universe, sensing that there was something very, very, an environment that needed changing. And I remember sending out this thought, this emotion, this sun, this ray across. And then, as we know with the soul interactions and the way the soul operates, and if there's zero-time communication outside of the planet, then this reached across very, very quickly, in an instant, in a moment. And then I found the foundation, and I heard Mr. Kesh's voice. And I knew it was a very intense communication. I knew it was a very deep, resounding truth that resonated with inside myself. And as a soul, I stepped onto this path of enlightenment, of walking through many, many different dimensions, experiencing many different things that I hadn't experienced before in my being, in my body. And gradually coming around to the realization of how vast and beautiful the knowledge is, and also the aspect of the experiences that we gather through our moments that we are in the matter state. And they are joyous, they are quite incredible. And the more you experience, the more you walk along the path, the more you feel strength you gather, and you experience and learn this, and then you pass this on, it definitely, you realize that the beauty of the soul in the interaction in the physical body, how the most simplest thought intention can be transformed into a very incredible, beautiful action. And the smallest seed thought, the smallest thought can turn into the most incredible, magnetic experience for the person, the being, the soul. And then this is then passed on to all the souls instantly. Rick mentioned earlier on that one thought someone has in one part of the world is very quickly transferred. And many inventions, I've noticed this myself. I've had a thought, or someone's had a thought about a particular application. And then you suddenly realize the other side of the planet that someone's done it, achieved it, and is showing it. So this communication, this zero-time communication, has to be explained. And I think through the teachings of Mr. Keshe and the foundation, we've all come to understand the soul aspect. It ties everything together with the physicality, so that it explains the creation through many, many different ways. And I think for me, experiencing this journey has been incredible. And for humanity now, the door's open. The space gap, the moment, this moment is here, and you can experience it, we can experience it. We are experiencing it, we're in this very moment. The peace process that Mr. Keshe has been the primal negotiator, I should say, of this process. He stepped into a long time ago, and came forward as this wonderful, incredible field strength that has brought a quite wondrous change in the thoughts and intentions of humanity and many other creatures across the universe. And it's quite, trying to think of the word now that would be, overwhelming is not really the word, but it's an incredible experience that I know humanity is, and all the creatures are going to experience in many, many different dimensions. In a family aspect, Mr. Keshe has spoken about somebody within the foundation getting married. And congratulations to you, Yusuf. Have a wonderful, beautiful, incredible day, and may it be for eternity for you. The most wonderful gift of soul intentions and beauty. Looking at the, thank you, Rick, for these images that you're showing. The body enhancement unit will go there. So this gives us the ability as a tool to travel, to enlighten. It gives us the ability to change our environment and the condition around ourselves through this technology. And so the technology has been brought forward, universal knowledge by Mr. Keshe, that we can all experience. We can share with our friends and families and nations and across everything, across the whole planet. And ultimately, as Marie has just explained, to join the universal community, which in essence have always been present with us, because in essence, it's us. We're all one and we're all deeply connected. We always have been. The only separation is what we've conditioned ourselves to understand. And now the realization is that we live in a position, we are in a position where an eternal soul that has the knowledge and the experience to give unconditionally and create a new cycle, as Mr. Kesh would say, of untold beauty constantly. And once that one seed starts and blooms, you can imagine the ongoing process that will be created from that one correct seed. It will be the most incredible, magical, can't think of the words now, but most beautiful journey for each and every one of us. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to be part of it. The foundation and all its souls, all its beings that are present, they all have such unique qualities and aspects and beauty. And I've noticed the knowledge is passed on, and the field strength is passed on from soul to soul very quickly. And even just a thought, that field strength of a thought has a wonderful presence. And when all the knowledge seekers come together, the Universal Council members, the core team, the Earth Council, the knowledge seekers, and they bring those thoughts together as one, any field strength can be brought into a condition of beauty. And as we've come to understand through the knowledge of the peace negotiations and the 5+1, 2, 3, 5+3. So the foundation has now been a fundamental part of the change that has brought about this condition that will bring peace to the soul of man and the soul of a plasma. In this very moment. And it's an incredible moment. And I'd like to thank everybody who's been part of this and is part of it in this very moment, and particularly Mr. Kesh for all his incredible field strength that he brought forward from a position a long time ago. But in essence, in this very moment. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening.
Okay, thank you, Dean. I'll remind the attendees that you can put up your virtual hand and then have an opportunity to speak here. There's certainly lots of, experienced knowledge seekers in the attendees list that have been around for a number of years. So it would be a good opportunity to say something about your experience, perhaps what it was like before and what you see going into the future. Christina says in the YouTube, it's so very exciting to hear about our future of long, healthy life where we can make great contributions to humanity. And Wolfgang in the live stream says, good day to all beings, best success in understanding, developing, and experiencing the best knowledge. Thanks to Mayran Tavakoli Kesh, Rick, and the KF team. Together we create harmony at its best. And we have a comment in the Q&A here, delivered by Cristiano from Sandra, who says, Jesus never stopped working for us, and we choose to be useful and work tirelessly for good. With the plasma technology of the Kesh Foundation, we recognize that working for the good of others and for the peace of the planet, and especially to work without waiting for a salary, without involving money, but simply to work for the love of others without expecting a reward. My soul feels peace with the truths that Mr. Kesh and the Kesh Foundation have been teaching us. I see a better future and happy children. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. And Antonio adds in the Q&A, truly the golden age is now beginning. Thank you again. I see Jalal has a hand up and down here, so I'm going to allow you to go ahead and get a word in when you can here.
Yes, thank you, Rick. Hi, everyone. Good day, Mr. Cash. Good day, everyone. I would like in the beginning to thanks, many thanks to Mr. Cash to teach us and to bring this beautiful knowledge to our awareness. And a lot of times thinking what it happened and what really I gain from all these years of this knowledge. And I found one thing, beauty. When we go in the teaching of Mr. Cash, when he speaks about Mitra and how Mitra traveled the spans of universes and universes and collected the beauties to manifest the beauty here on earth, the appreciation of the creator. And when I find myself that I am a part of this creation, it added a lot of respect. It added a love for my soul. Before we know about the creator and how they taught us not out of respect and love, they taught us out of fear from the creator. And this bring us in a way in the level of fear even from the creation. And when you notice that you are part of the creator, you will appreciate your existence and you love it. And when you love it, you respect it. And when you respect it, you respect everything what the creator created, because you are part of it and it's part of you. And for this, I really thank you, Mr. Cash, only for this small part of the knowledge, because it added a lot to me. I see every day appreciation from everywhere. I see appreciation to existence of this physicality and this emotion and this soul. And I know when my soul would like to manifest itself in the future, there will be no restriction to be in this color because the environment dictate, or this emotion dictate, or this village dictate. It will be created out of what it loved to be created of. It will be respected and appreciated for its own existence, not for what it needed to be seen by the others. And this is the most beautiful thing I learned from you, Mr. Cash. And I hope, really, I hope every one of the knowledge seekers see and feel what I feel, and really to be honored to be part of this peace movement, serve movement, and the beauty if you can serve. Because in the space there is trillions and trillions of energies in all shapes and forms. And lucky, the luckiest one who can really taken from. As Mr. Cash once said, the heaven when someone take from you, and the hell when no one take from your energy. Thank you very much, Mr. Cash. And I know 100% what you involved in, it will be right. Because when you say something, it will happen. That's, I am for sure of that. As I am sure that I am exist. Thank you very much. Thank all of you. And I wish you really very beautiful seconds to come. We don't stop, as Mr. Cash said, no matter what date and times in respect to the teaching is going on all the time. Thank you very much, all of you. I am honored to be part of this.
Thank you very much, Jalal. I'm sure from what we said, you'll be a massive part of it. You do not know it yet. I asked the Chinese team to share the past year's success 2021. And all I got, even though my name from the head of the Chinese Keshe Foundation and the factory is here with us, that's all I received from them, and I shared it with you. It's impressive work. This is the Keshe Foundation headquarters in China, both buildings. And I'm working on it. They've been there 6 months. They moved in around June. And as we saw, the name of Keshe Foundation in US, in Austria, in Iran. This is the Keshe Foundation China headquarters. Impressive building. These are real pictures from the where the Keshe Foundation will run its operation in China and beyond. And the Chinese word says, Wang is in the background if she would like to join us. As I just shared in pictures with you, this is the entrance of the Keshe Foundation headquarters. If you saw the beginning, some months ago, it was just nothing but a shell. We have spent a lot of time and capital to literally lay it out the way it should be. Advanced technology with advanced place, and this is your headquarters. This is where a lot of work from China is already now operating through. Designed and completed, and the offices are ready for operation. This is where we spent our finances. This is where we spend our strength. And as you see, it was a shell, and now it's taking shape, ready for knowledge seekers, ready for workforce to literally invade this building. These are the physical what they call pictures taken in the past few days. And if there is more of it to be shared with Bang Lane in the background, we would like to share with you. And what is important for us is that finally, after years of work in China, the name of the Keshe Foundation, the home of the Keshe Foundation, has one of the most prestigious buildings we could access brand new and getting furnished. Now that we finished this side, we move in to finish the factory. Within the building is huge, over 10,000 square meters of manufacturing. And first orders for the factory is already lined up in 2021. We see this as one of the major moves of 2021. Tehran, China. We will show very soon the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation in Austria, and we will see it. We are becoming independent. The beauty of this, all this progressive advancement is done without a single cent borrowed from any bank, without a single cent being asked from an organization to support. It's done on the strength of the Keshe Foundation. It's done on the strength of what we do, what we believe in, and what we commit ourselves to. And it adds up to huge amount of progress. It adds up to a lot of trust in what we do. Don't forget, all this will be left to our children, our grandchildren, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, because nothing will be taken by us. We develop it, we build it, and we leave it for the time of the history to tell. We set out to create peace through knowledge, through technology, and very soon this name in different languages, in different shape and form, and flags will be across this planet. Knowledge without borders, knowledge without expectation, and sharing knowledge for peace. I thank Wang Lin and the Keshe Foundation team in China. Worked very hard, they sacrificed everything. And now, from now on, we'll see the fruit of their work. Wang Lin is on the line. If you would like to join us, apparently she keeps on dropping off and coming back in. Are you there, Wang Lin?
Yes, Mr. Keshe.
Would you like to share any more images if you have of your headquarters?
Not much actually. I just that's the picture I taken about 2 weeks ago before we moved in, and but it's almost finished. Yeah, and I'm going to shipping something for the spaceship unit.
Okay. As Wang Lin said, the first 3 set of spaceship units, one goes to Arizona, one to Austria, one to Iran, is about to take shape in the next few days. And we all see most probably on arrival. They are made in a full shape, it's not to disassemble. And we will see the approach and receipt of the units, as Wang Lin says. We are ready to deliver the technology in a vast shape. 3 units a week, and then increasing it to 30 to 50 units a month, to 100 by the end of the year. Thank you very much, Wang Lin. I know exactly what you are doing and where you are.
Thank you. And this
Would you like to
congratulations.
switch off your microphone?
Okay, bye.
I think she's busy with something else. Thank you very much. Sorry. The new flight enhancement flight system will be assembled around the world when the units arrive. That they all receive the knowledge at the same time in 3 countries, and probably more than 20 nationalities getting involved in this by around about mid-February latest. And then we'll see where we take. We have put requests and further next week to the American government for admission, for accepting the flight unit in US. And this will be a major breakthrough for not only the Keshe Foundation, but for all of us in sharing knowledge. We request from a number of knowledge seekers to move in these positions in the coming weeks, or ready to teach the scientists who come in from these organizations to be ready to accept and understand and collaborate, that by mid-March, we have the flight system to be ready to test. And then we'll move on. You got to understand the most important part of the flight system has not been disclosed in understanding of the totality. And this will be done in the coming weeks and months with the international scientist collaboration. Any other part anybody else would like to share?
Got Stefania with a hand up. I'm sure she has something interesting to share.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you, Rick, for the compliment. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. As you, Mr. Cash, said usually. Welcome, everyone. I'm Stefania. I'm the Italian Universal Council representative, Italian language. I just want to thank you, Mr. Cash, and thank you all the foundation, all the knowledge seeker, everyone, for continuously, endlessly preparing condition for world peace. And now we start to see the fruit of the hard work. And also, I just wanted to really share that we're celebrating the birth of Mitra, and now we're gonna start this new year, 2022. Definitely in the air, especially. I have to say, this is what I see also in the Italian community. I see that people are now looking for the 5 pillar integrity. They're really ready for integrity, clarity, really sovereignty, human rights. Really, people now really asking for this. It's like if we were this Mitra, it's really forming, because now you can see in the people. You can see in the people they're really asking for this equality, for this not hierarchy or no wars. So really the 5 pillar, I think this year I see more than ever. As the government, I mean, I don't know if, I think the government, they're already gone. But now we get aware, the sovereign government, they were step over the fraudulent government. And now I see that people are really asking for justice, and they are very ready for this new change. So now my hope will be if now, because I can see everyone start to understand the law of the universe. Everyone wants to work with the universe law. Everyone wants to unite together and work together. So I really hope that the 2022, now all of us, we really make this Mitra happening by being good, doing good, act good. So really working together. Like now I see all the dots getting together. Even those maybe the dots were already before, but now I really see this activation. So I really hope that all the scientists, all the people who are forward, they really join you, Mr. Cash, and all the people of 5+3 to really make the change with the space technology. And that would be the perfect, somehow you really see this everything going back into place. I can see really now the light of the new world, the change. So very, very happy. Actually, I feel like crying really. I'm very emotional for this, because for the first time, I feel like I fit in in this world. What there was before, I couldn't fit. And now I'm fit. It's like a new dress who's getting tailor-made. I don't know how to say it, but I'm so happy about the 2022. So thank you so much for all your work.
Okay, thank you, Stefania. Okay, well, there's something that I can add as to the experiences and discussion, which is I've had a visitor over Christmas, but not a human visitor, but a bear has come to visit. And I was awakened literally about a little over a week ago. And the result of which was I jumped out of bed, and a couple of meters away up against my picture window of my area where I sleep, and it's also the area where where I am sitting right now, was a bear in the picture window with his paws up against the window. And you can see in this picture, it's a little blurry, but there's a paw print in the outline, this red outline. There's a big paw print outside the window here. And there's actually another one up in the upper left over here as well. And yeah, he was there, and he was trying to get at the hummingbird feeder, which is in the middle of my picture window here. So he stretched out, 6 feet high, this big black bear. So I went right over in front of his face because he didn't quite see me. He was pretty preoccupied with the hummingbird feeder. And I yelled pretty loud, and I startled him, and he took off. And I thought, well, he's probably gone. But it turns out a few days later, we had a big snowfall here, unseasonably cold weather, record-setting cold weather, and a big snow came in this area. It doesn't generally snow in the area of Canada where I am, but we had a big snowfall. So I heard this ruckus, a bit of a ruckus outside, and went to my side door, and sure enough, there was a bear there. And you can see this big black bear, and he's rummaging around at the birdseed, because it turns out bears like birdseed. Well, this is all kind of auspicious that at this time when we were told by the health authorities, everyone go home, stay there, no gatherings, stay, maybe in your family bubble, a few friends or something, but it's like you're supposed to go home, stay there, and basically that's your Christmas. So I ended up having this visitor over Christmas, and when I look up the bear in the native symbols, the Aboriginal native bear symbol represents strength, family, vitality, courage, and health. The bear is also self-contained and strong-willed in nature. A bear is of great support and comfort to those who crave human company simply for personal reassurance, rather than for the simple pleasure of being with friends. So it's one of the important spirits of the West Coast here in Canada. And in fact, all of the Aboriginal communities have bears as important symbols. So I've had this symbol of the bear be with me over this same time period, basically, as the peace talks are progressing. And we also have this, the change of season from December 21st, where the days are getting longer. And so we have that, we're in a transition period. And also another thing that comes into this, and there's a number of symbols that are sort of part of this whole thing with the idea of Mithra, And I'm thinking, well, maybe this is the manifestation of Mithra to me here, to, to teach me some kind of lesson. And so I've gone through a number of emotions about this situation. At first, I just want the bear away, and that's the normal human thing, is to shoo the bear away and make sure there's no food around so it doesn't come back, and so on and so forth. But not only has it come back, but it's made its home under my home, and that's where it is right now. So I've got a bear living with me for about the last week or so, actually. And I'm basically starving him out, and he'll eventually leave. And I mean, I could have brought in the authorities. I could have disturbed the bear and probably got him to leave and patch up the hole underneath where he's got into, and so on. But I'm also learning a big lesson about just getting along. Just leave the bear be, and he's leaving me alone, and we both getting along quite well. It's no big deal. And also, I think in terms of the peace talks, and also what's happening now in the Ukraine, especially with the aggravation between the Western powers and Russia. And if you think of Russia, what is the symbol of Russia? It's a bear. And so I think, well, and one of the big conflicts with Canada's in the Ukraine, supporting Ukraine, in conflict with Russia right now. So I'm thinking, well, this is kind of interesting in a way. And, there's ways of scaring the bear away, at least temporarily, and creating friction. But maybe there's a way of just letting things be and calming our own emotions and attaining peace inside. And then the situation resolves itself when we change ourselves inside. So the bear, to me, no longer becomes, it's not a problem or a nuisance. I haven't left anything out for it to get into, so it's not being a problem. It needs a place to hibernate because all of a sudden it's snowing here. It doesn't usually, and it figures, oh, there's snow on the ground. I need to find a hole somewhere and just go sleep for a while, or whatever bears do when they encounter that. But their natural food source is difficult to find, and they find themselves in different conditions and environment, and maybe in a different position than they expected to be when all that happened. So I find myself with compassion for this bear, and in other circumstances, it would be, to have it as a friend and so on. Just can't do that in the area where I'm in. It's too much of a residential area to have bears roaming around. But it's temporarily here. It's made its temporary home, and we're all okay with that. So it's interesting symbols and emotions that I'm going through at this time, and it was rather unexpected. It's been a bit of a lonely Christmas in many ways, but now I find I wasn't so lonely after all. As I told Mr. Kesh, I told the bear about the COVID restrictions, and you're not allowed to have extra visitors, but he didn't really pay attention to that. Understandable, I guess. So that's my bear story, the bear news. Okay, you have a hand.
That prevent you all the time to say bear with me. Now let's bear with you.
Yeah. It's quite a powerful experience being around such a beautiful and powerful animal, strong, intelligent animal. We definitely have a connection with all of the beings on this planet. Okay, you have a hand up, and I think you would like to say something.
Good morning, Rick. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Cash. As always, thank you very much for your presence. Good morning to all the knowledge seekers. May God bless you all in such a beautiful period of year. May the soul of Jesus be with all of you, and a very happy new year to all of the knowledge seekers and the rest of humanity. And as I understand, and as we are 100% sure, this is going to be a beautiful new year to come. I also would like to express my deepest congratulations to Joseph, who's getting married. And it is amazing that the year 22 or 2022 will have the head of Keshe Foundation Iran hitched and getting married. It's amazing the way the plasma works, the way the soul works. I wish them a lot of luck, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, and eternal bonding. May God bless them in this journey. I just would like to also wish the blessing for Mr. Fakhrizadeh, who was assassinated a month ago to date last year, and wish for his soul to be shining as the brightest star in the universe, together with the rest of the scientists, nuclear scientists who were assassinated perhaps 6-7 years ago. I first heard about Mr. Cash perhaps in 2009, 2010, in some sort of comment of news about Iran getting flattened or sent back to Stone Age. And even though it was late at night, I delved into it and scoured the net to see what Mr. Cash is all about. And the first things I came across was the few short videos that Mr. Cash has released, maybe 7 or 8 of them. Each of them was around about 9, 10, 11 minutes. I managed to go through 3 or 4 of them. And within those few videos, I was already connected to what Mr. Cash was talking about, his knowledge and his technology. For some reason, it sank into me and I understood and I felt it. It was late at night. I slept as I had to go to work in the morning. The next night again, I followed it up and finished the whole series of 8 or 9 videos that Mr. Cash released. Followed on, carried on the background. I used to try to see if I could get more information, and I did. All of the interviews which were getting done on Skype, I would listen to them, even though some of them there would be a lot of interference. It carried on, and I also participated in Mr. Cash conference in London, which was an Imperial College University in London, central London. I think it was in January 2013. And the fact that Iran has used technology to bring the RQ-170, the drone, American drone, down, it had a lot of implications, and it meant that the start of the world peace is there to roll out. And I become stronger and stronger in believing that this technology will make a lot of changes to this planet and humanities. As time gone by, obviously lots of things came along. I got more involved around 2014, 2015, a little bit more getting into the knowledge but again, some of the stuff came. I couldn't I couldn't dedicate as much as I would have liked to. And up until 2019 again, I started digging in more into the knowledge. And since then, the knowledge has done a lot of changes to me. I already knew this knowledge was a game changer. It was here to change everything, the scene, the landscape, which has been set by certain people. It was to change it and take us to a better era, a better condition for humanity as well as the planet. Obviously, when the coronavirus came, things has changed a great deal. We have experienced so much things with the plasma, and the belief just become more and more stronger. And there was nothing which could ever put doubt in your understanding and in your belief in what Mr. Keshe has gifted us so beautifully and so freely. Up until now, I've experienced quite a lot, even though it is so tiny compared to lots of other knowledge seekers who have achieved a great deal more than I did. But the little that I have experienced is mind-boggling, and it's beyond belief and imagination what plasma do and what plasma can do and achieve. There was no doubt in my head, in my mind, in my soul that we will achieve this world peace sooner or later. As we have seen over the years, the conflict has reduced drastically. No more total annihilation of nations and countries. There are sporadic flare-up here and there, but they will all soon die down too. And I'm so glad to hear, as Mr. Keshe announced, things in 5+1 are going in a positive direction. And soon we shall see the fruition of that hard work that Mr. Keshe has put for past 12, 13 years just to get this world peace going. I would like to thank Mr. Keshe a great deal. There is no word to describe the knowledge that he has blessed us with, he has shared with us. It is, there is no way one could ever comprehend the amount of knowledge is there to have been shared with humanity so freely and so unconditionally. I'm ever so grateful, and I'm ever so thankful for the condition that Mr. Keshe has provided for us, humanity, and the future which is awaiting us. God bless his soul. I wish to see him another 200 years in this planet. Thank you to all knowledge seekers. And we shall have a beautiful 2022 to celebrate. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Do you have any other attendees that would like to say something? Please raise your hand and we can acknowledge you. We have a comment from Lissy in the Q&A. Says, Mr. Keshe, thanks. Thanks is little for the immensity of love, time, and knowledge that your soul has donated to us. So does Rick, members, and Universal Council, and all the professors who offered themselves to us from their souls. May the new year continue to shine forth the soul of peace and the beauty of the love of the Creator of the universe in each being. Thank you, Lissy. We have a couple of questions from Akbar in the Q&A. And I'm not sure if Mr. Kesh, if you want to answer questions or continue with the current format, but the questions are, hello, Mr. Kesh, greetings, sir. How has Mithra lost the memory? And as you said, now she is in the process of changing. Not quite, this question is not quite clear to me. And there's another question, one more question, is that after bringing the peace to this planet and the whole universe into the bargain, what's going to happen? I mean, live and kicking in another dimension? You can choose to answer or not answer those questions, Mr. Kesh. In the meantime, we have Mashfek with a hand up here. So perhaps we can hear from Mashfek.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm Mosfeg. I'm involved with the Bengali speaking community. And I would like to talk a little bit about the teaching of Keshe Foundation. It's been going on for, we are at the 413th Knowledge Seeker Workshop. And this teaching process is inspiration to all of us, and I am part of that crowd who was inspired. And so what is amazing about this teaching is it's teaching by example. So as a result, I got involved in teaching in Bengali community, and we are about to hit the 200 mark. So it's been going on for a while. At the beginning, it was a bit slow.
Hello, Mashfek.
Yes, I'm here. I think you disappeared for a bit, I guess.
Yeah, Mr. Kesh shared a different picture and then your voice cut out temporarily, but just for one sentence or so. So carry on.
Okay, so, well, I'll track back a little. So we've been teaching, it's been a while. So since we are about the 200 mark, it's been slow at the beginning. Very few people came, but things progressed, and I tried to. At the beginning, I was the only person talking, of course, because not very many people knew about it. But now things have changed. We have other people who come to the public teaching who are sharing their own experience with the technology, and more people. As I got involved with the health side of it, it was also really a teaching in a sense through helping people, and so people are beginning to know more about it, and not just people in my surrounding or neighborhood, but other people are coming. So, and similarly, especially the younger generation is coming on board in terms of involving themselves in the teaching, and which is, to me, is a very encouraging sign. And in the teaching, like, as is the way of teaching with Mr. Kesh, we try to involve every aspect from the simple paint pen to soul level and everything in between, and as much as we can, given our own understanding. And this is where things get interesting, as I've been doing it for a while, and as I do it more, it seems that my understanding is also improving quite rapidly. We see Mr. Kesh doing things, by example, from like showing plasma fields by using eggs, rolling his sleeves and playing with eggs, and things like that, as well as more sophisticated things. But sometimes the simple things that he does in his teaching is very telling, so to speak, as an example. And so we in our teaching, we do hands-on things, and sometimes we do soul level teaching, very in some way it might sound abstract, but people do have experience, they're sharing at that level. So things are reaching people one by one, but and the recent increase in the number in the interest is another good sign, and I'm very encouraged by it, and I'm exploring several possibilities, and people are coming on board. So, and I think that 2022 will be a year where things will be more of a public nature, and there are signs around me. In the media community, I do have connections, and they're using the technology and benefiting from it. And I mean, this is also part of the teaching process, I think, because the talking about it is all well and good, but it has to, people learn by seeing it, and in a way by example. It's not just me talking and I know everything, kind of. None of these. It's you contribute your part and we all do it together kind of approach to learning and teaching. As I am a knowledge seeker, so others experience that is shared in the public teaching in Bengali, for example, is helping me as well. So learning and teaching by doing is one of the most fascinating thing about the Keshe Foundation workshops. And Rick is another great example of continuing this tradition, whether there is a bear or not. So so we do our part in that sense. And, it's been inspiring in the sense that being part of it, as not just another knowledge as a knowledge seeker, not just like to just teach and talk. I mean, I personally am not very comfortable about talking a lot, so it is in a way it was a bit of a struggle for me at the beginning, but but I got adjusted to it, and it is working. And we hope to see some space programs starting in India, Bangladesh area where much of the Bengali speaking community exists. So perhaps in 2022. So with that, thanks everyone in the Keshe Foundation, the knowledge seekers, and I mean, knowledge seekers are the real inspiration, and of course, Mr. Keshe as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mashfaq. Just looking at the questions and comments here. Wolfgang mentions in the live stream, working and understanding the creator soul technology, so-called plasmatic technology, gave me through the years more inner strength, consciousness, harmony, strong belief, and trust that we can change everything, even the worst. We need to know how to do it and trust the process, the creator. Thanks a lot, beyond words. Thank you, Wolfgang. And from Michael of Macedonia in the YouTube. Mr. Kesh, thank you for all you have done for all of humanity, together with your team of scientists and all of us knowledge seekers. Thank you for your guidance and journey to help us. Michael of Macedonia. Christina says, I've had a number of comments with her and responding back about a couple of questions. She says, thank you, Rick. Tonight has been awesome, as if the light came on, listening to you and everyone. Yes, he said it. You are a great example of giving. Love of humanity shines through. Mr. Kesh, would you like to say something?
No, just listening, and it's nice to be part of a bigger change we will be waiting for generations. I put this picture on, and every time I look at this picture, it brings me back a lot of what I call understanding. If you look at the top of the picture, you see, like, as I said, like the thrust of the rocket propulsion, because 6 of them in the building, if I remember correctly. And it looks like we're sitting under a rocket in the basement. I've been looking up into the, what they call it, the exhaust of the rocket engines to blast into space. And underneath, like a mole with these systems, we look at, we know more that you don't know up there. If you are familiar with a school of thoughts that there are people living in the center of the earth and different cultures, we become that culture in the exhibition center. Above us, we see the rocket propulsion. Underneath, we see the space technology that it can go even through the concrete and the building and take off. It's a beautiful feeling, knowing that you know more and you can share it so freely. And it's beautiful, what I call approach, putting the whole technology together. The new technology is not just about the flight. It's about every aspect of our need to be the passengers of this flight. From need of physical elevation to the elevation of the soul. And sometime in the future, mankind will understand that it can be enlightened during the flight by elevation of its soul, and decides that does not want to be within the parameters of this the structure which I'm flying with. And we'll see many of us, many of the human race, in the time of transportation and transmutation will elevate to new levels as they are touched by the knowledge of the Creator. And many of us will wish to be in that position and place. During the time of transportation and transmutation, as the system feeds our physical life and soul of physicality and the soul of the man, many of us will light it to the knowledge of the Creator and choose not to be in the dimension of physicality. And during the process of the flight, you might see 1 or 2 seats empty of the dimension of physicality, where the soul has taken a new position and dimension. We've seen this before, and I'm sure will happen to the race of the man, where as now we're spraying the CO2s and everything else around to elevate the soul of the planet and its citizens. Don't forget, now in these systems, you are in an intensive zone of massive elevation of the fields. These fields are not being created by the system inside, but in the process of very much like neutrinos, you call it, going through the system, we absorb fields from the outside fields of the radiation of the system and lead to better understanding, to more elevation. And it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see how this process will take shape. And as I said, we don't need to wait much. 2022 is the year where everything is on the move. As you heard Wang Ling from China, she's delivering some most important part of the enhancement you need to be added before its final assembly and shipment to the 3 destination. As we said, we ship 1 unit per week to Arizona. 1 unit per week to Austria. And we carry on with this process till we complete the understanding by all the scientists in Iran, in Austria, and in US of the new evolution. No nation will be able to hide, and all nations will work together. And this is the beauty of this technology. If you look at it on the top of the picture, is the edge of the knowledge of man in matter state. And below, you see the edge of understanding about plasma technology and the new cycle of motion and transportation. Then, beauty of it is, you see the chairs. That chair can be occupied by any scientist or man on this planet to be educated with the knowledge freely, without charge. And this brings back a lot of understanding. Every man expects, and we expect nothing, we just share. And somehow it works. These few last pictures you've seen is coming directly continuously by Dean from the exhibition center, because he literally lives in this space. And it's amazing how things are seen and done, and how the whole structure of the Keshe Foundation sits within it, sits within the structure, sits with this understanding, and sits with the process that all of us have no choice but to fall in with. And now you see another picture added to the collection. The 2 enhancements you put it next to each other. And one from the matter state and one from the physical and soul state. Very soon, there'll be a 3rd unit in the center of these, which is the flight system. We hopefully see it in the next 3-4 weeks once he arrives in Austria. And then we'll see. I asked a military force of a nation to ship the 3 units directly to each nation. And we are waiting for response. That way, once the unit completed, all 3 nations will receive the same system at the same time. And it'll be interesting if the military leaders will accept such a move. And we'll see how things take shape. It's the age of change. And we are part of that change, and we are part of change, bringing that change. And it's interesting to see what our future generation will look at when they look at these systems. Thank you very much, Rick. It's been a beautiful year. We thought a lot. We learned a lot. And we shared a lot. And hopefully, in time, some of it will be understood. And in time, some of it will be acted upon. Thank you very much, Rick. If there is no more participation, we call it a day as we're approaching the Christian New Calendar. And we wish you one of the best years for human race. There is one promise. 2022 is end of religions. I assure you, and with the will of what we have, we shall see. The end of belief in different paths of belief will come to an end in 2022. With Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or Buddhist, or the rest. They all will believe in one thing, and that's in the presence of the Creator amongst men, and the soul of the man, not in dimension of physicality. That's one thing we are sure, and that we will see. The end of belief in Creator in different names and religions. We will see the end of religions. There shall be no separation, they will become one. And this is one of the most beautiful things we shall see starting in 2022. Thank you very much, Rick. If there's anything you want to add or anybody else.
There's one outstanding question, and we had a discussion in the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group and other discussions. And Salamia had a question regarding, can you give examples of matter with the big M matter? And we were looking at the books and kind of trying to figure that out, but we didn't get a good solid answer.
Stone, metals. Human body is not in a big matter state. Human body is a transition in between the matter and plasma.
Okay, so the big M matter is like the solid stuff, matter.
Solid, where is completion, singularity. The life of the man is an intermediary, living, not intermediary, living in two dimensions of the matter state and the plasma state. Our body, cell of body are in a plasma state, but our bones are in the matter state. We still use the matter state to hang the plasma to it. We create the structure of the man. The total matter state is a matter of solid, where is singularity of the existence, not composition of existence of different states. It's like iron, copper. If you think of even alloys are still in a state of matter, but it's a composition of a state, not singularity of state. The wood is between the two states because it carries an amino acid structure. The matter state is what we have as a solid part of the structure of any existence, any material like Earth. You consider gases as part of that matter state, but in different field strength. We consider water as the same. Matter as big M is what you hold in your hand in the singularity of the state of atom.
Okay, I think that will help clarify. Thank you. We have Alex with a hand up here. I think we should hear from him before we wrap up here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for allowing me to join the session. I just want to say a few words because we've brought up some memories, and I want to just take this time to thank what I call the Three Musketeers. In 2019, I was going through an extremely difficult time, and three of my customers, Don, Mark, and Gary, helped me out tremendously. And it's amazing, in Canada, we have the $1 and $2 bills were replaced with loonies and toonies, and they helped me survive through donations of loonies and toonies, through the distribution of plasma water to them and their friends. Don spent most of his life in a wheelchair. And it was my wish that we would be able to get rid of that wheelchair. And amongst the many things that he did for me, the one thing he did was he programmed his computer that I've been teaching on. Mark had transplants, suffered greatly. I can believe the amount of pain that he went through, and he survived longer than most people have from those type of illnesses. He had no feeling in his legs. He walked around like Frankenstein. And so it was amazing to see him walk out in the cold, temperatures minus 15 degrees, and he's walking around with no feeling and not being affected by the cold. But he engraved a plaque for me that honored the water that we were distributing. And then Gary was a military man, and Gary was also a teacher. And he would regale me with stories of the Canadian veterans. And because he was well into his 80s, you know that he was regaling stories when Canadian soldiers were proud to be Canadian. They were proud to be Canadian soldiers. And I've heard from many Canadian soldiers, too many who can't can't sleep at night. Because they were patriots. And one of the stories, and this is the story that I want to tell, is that Gary spent a lot of time as a Canadian peacekeeper, and Canadians were renowned around the world for being peacekeepers, and well respected as well. And one of the reasons that Canadians were so cherished as peacekeepers was because although peacekeepers carried guns, they didn't have bullets in their guns. And I thought, well, you don't really want to let people know this, do you? And he says, yeah, definitely you want to let them know this, because as Canadian peacekeepers, we were walking in hostile territory. But the purpose of being a peacekeeper is to enforce the peace or oversee the peace, not to deliver weaponry. So if they were to carry bullets in their guns, they would actually be delivery boys. And they weren't delivery boys, they were peacekeepers. And the residents in these areas knew that. And this is why the Canadian peacekeepers were never involved in any kind of military or terrorist activity. There was no point peacekeepers bring peace. They don't bring armaments. And the three gentlemen helped me tremendously. And I was so hoping to be able to have them share in the benefits of this technology, where Don could walk again and Mark could regrow his organs and Gary could wash away the memories of the hard side of the war. And they all passed away in 2019. And I just want to make a wish that I wish for, in light of the tremendous movement with respect to the US and surprisingly Britain, that with the vision enhancement units, that we help the American soldiers who are suffering from this trauma, and understanding that their desire to be patriots was used and abused and violated. And it's not their fault. It's unfortunate that they got in that trap, but we have a way out. And it is with this gift that I'm hopeful this gets extended to the Canadian soldiers as well, because they suffer the same. And so there's no doubt that the British soldiers suffer the same. All soldiers in all countries are patriots. And so when we bring with the one nation together, we are all patriots. And I want to thank all the knowledge seekers for their support. And the greatest Canadian patriot, to my mind, needs to be complimented. And that's to you, Rick. You're an inspiration. You're a real inspiration. And Mr. Kesh, thank you so much. A lot of wishes are going to come true. And the Three Musketeers would have been proud to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. It would be my wish that Canada becomes part of the 5+4 peace agreement, because Canada has close ties with Iran. Actually, there's many Iranians that live in Canada. And in fact, the flight from Iran was one of the ones that got taken down. And so there's this grief that's shared between Iran and Canada in many ways as well. So perhaps through all that, we'll see the rise of Canada through this next year. I think that that's it's time for Canada to start to participate on the world stage with the along with the US and others that will be very important with their participation coming in the next few months. Okay, thank you, Alex. I think Mr. Kesh wants to wrap up here now, so we should acknowledge that, I guess, if there's nothing else to say. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Kesh, or are we done for now?
No, thank you very much indeed. We wish you a happy new year. And I'm sure when we meet next week, there'll be much, much bigger news start floating in, and we'll see the beginning of changes. We hope that we will be able to conclude a lot of things in the next coming year, especially our hope and our wish is the completion of flight on 6th of June. As I said, the Keshe Foundation Space Company, GmbH, has already been signed into and established, and is on the progress with the permission of the Austrian government to become a space agency organization above 80 kilometers, which is the boundary of the aerospace, and it's the first time Austria become a deep space travel company and establishes a ground for it. And we hope we can serve the nation of man with peace as one nation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you for another workshop here today, 413th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on December 30th, 2021. And we have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. Let me see the date on that. To get into a whole nother calendar for that one, will be Tuesday, January 4th. And we look forward to hearing from the Universal Council in that meeting. And we'll see what they have to say for the new year of 2022. Congratulations, Mr. Kesh, for getting through all these years of Knowledge Seekers workshops up to this point. And it's so nice to see the world conditions being in a better place for the acceptance of the plasma technology. And I for one can understand better now why the plasma technology couldn't be introduced 10 years ago when it could have been, but wasn't due to the conditions that were happening at that time. And a lot of the conditions didn't get better in the meantime, but now we have a change point that's occurred, and a new consciousness that's overtaking the world, and I think it's filtering down even into the minds of the negotiators. And it's time for a change of attitude and a new perspective that we'll see going into the new year. Okay, thanks everyone. I'm going to play a couple of the videos from Kesh. I'll do the vertical enhancement unit, and then we'll go out with the flight enhancement spaceship unit as well. Thank you everyone for being here today, and we'll see you next time in the public teachings.